Good afternoon from IIT Gandhinagar. We continue these lectures in our Indian Knowledge Systems course on literatures of pre-colonial India. And this is the second talk by Ramanan. T.A. Venkateswaran is his full name, but he's better known in literary circles by his pen name, Ramanan. He has written a lot of poetry, plays in Tamil, and he is extremely knowledgeable on the whole range of Tamil poetry, all the way to the contemporary period, as we will see tomorrow. The last time it was a survey of the Sangam literature, while today Ramanan is going to tell us about Thiruvalluvar, the great author of the Tirukural, and Ilango, the author of Silapadikaram, and the third, Kamban, of course, the author of the Tamil Ramayana, as it is called sometimes. Thank you so much, Ramanan, for joining us, and please.
Vanakkam again from Isaikkavi Ramanan. I deem it a privilege to be in this, what shall I say, holy precincts of IIT Gandhinagar for the second time. Last time, as Michel Danino pointed out, we had a brief survey of an ocean of literature, Sangam literature. And the live relay does elicit a good response. One gentleman from Karaikudi, Kamban Kazhagam, Sri Subramanian Veerappan, called me and corrected me. See, in your talk on Sangam literature, you mentioned that Murugan was the only Lord. At the same time, you quoted from Tolgapiyam about Mayon, Seyon, other deities also. It was a slip of the tongue. What I meant to say was, from that day till today, Murugan is specifically mentioned as the Lord of Tamils. That is the thing. From that day, you cannot say the same thing about others like Indra. There is no Indra worship in contemporary times anymore. But the Murugan worship continues from Sangam age today. So thanks, Subramanian ji, for pointing out this. And then during the last session, our good scholar and dear friend Ankita raised a very important question about Purananuru and Agananu, which really, cannot be expected of a non-Tamil student. So when you explained, she said it seems to overlap. So what exactly is the difference between Purananuru and Agananu? 3 simple points, if we mention, then it will be clear to everyone who is watching it. This was conveyed to me by my good friend Pattimandram Raja from Madurai. He included another scholar in a con call, and see, look at the way how seriously they take this and respond. Beautiful information. One is Purananuru contains historicity. There is no history so far as Agananuru is concerned. Purananuru mentions specific names of persons. In Agananu, it is a dramatization of feelings like love. Then the catch here is one poem will start describing a king like Karigal Sor. So immediately we will conclude that it is Purananuru. No. Midway through the poem, he says there is a spear in the hand of the king. But what about it? They are no match to the sharpness of your eyes, my dear. There it becomes Agam. Then the most ancient work, one of the most ancient works in Tamil, Irayanar Aruliad. Irayanar is Lord Shiva himself has given us, it is full of agam only. Aganano means love, emotions, circumstances of life, like that. So it is not only for you, for the Tamil speaking, Tamil knowing people also, these 3 points are very relevant. So my special thanks to Ankita for raising the question, and my dear friend Raja, and another scholar from Madurai who clarified it over phone. One more correction. When I said Pattu Pattu, it is 10. Pattu is 10. Then Ettu Togai, Ettu is 8. I got carried away, and when I said Padinan Keel Kadakku, I said 11. It is not 11, it is 18. Padi Yen. Padi is 10. Yen is 8. So 18 it is. So nice to learn while speaking. Tirukural belongs to that Padinan Keel Kadakku set of move. It is very difficult to describe Thiruvalluvar. At the same time, he is inescapably relevant and necessary to everyone, irrespective of one's nationality or level of education. He is almost inescapably relevant to every one of us. First, his period is not very clear. Again, they say between 1 BCE and 1 BC. Could be. There are only some unbelievable lores about him, but we do not know about his parents, anything. Nothing is there. Again, normally we try to understand the period of a work by some mention somewhere. He wrote 1,330 couplets. They are not even, you can't even call them couplets, because seven words we can say. At least if it is 8, we can call it, it will be complete. In this, he has really conquered the world through his wisdom. The thing is, he does not make any mention about any particular place, any king, any river, any mountain, any period, any religion, or any god in particular. There is a lot of debate about him. Everyone wants him. Everyone virtually wants him. I'm talking about religions also. One would say he's a Hindu, another would say he's a Jain, and some people go to the extent of saying that he was the Shishya of Saint Thomas. All these theories are there. No, it is better to avoid all these theories and look at the work which contains pure wisdom, which is necessary and relevant to every one of us. So if we go, the first Adhikaram is set of 10 couplets. Like that, there are 133. That makes it 1,330 verses for you. Agara Mudala Eluttella Adi Bhagavan Mudatre Ulagu. This is how Tirukural starts. What a beautiful thing. All the letters could be in any language. All the letters begin from an origin A. You know why? What a beautiful logic. When you open your mouth, whether you are an European or whether you are in Ukraine now, or whether you are a Tamilian, whatever it is, when you open your mouth, what comes? A. So he says all the letters have their origin in A. So whatever is the creation, the manifestation of everything, they owe their origin to Adi Bhagavan, the primordial Lord. Here, the simile is not used. Likewise, no, it is not there. This is a separate sentence. This is a separate sentence. A is the source of all the letters. Adi Bhagavan, primordial Lord, is the source of all the words. Ulagu. Fine. Yeah. Another thing is, when you say Ulagu, it refers to Ulagam, which is the world. Valluvar also uses the word to denote Sandror or noble people, wise ones. Now here it is very clear, manifested world only is meant. Then, what is the purpose of this? In the next couplet itself, he completes. As far as I'm concerned, the first and second couplets of the work is completing itself. Like if you take Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, when he says the first aphorism, Chitta Vritti Nirodha, the book itself is over. After that, it is only in expansion. Likewise, in the second couplet, he raises a question, Katradanal aya payan yen. What is the use of all this education, this learning? Katradanal aya payan yen. What is the use of all this learning, all this education? Valarivan natral torar eni. If you do not submit yourself to the feet of Valarivan, he refers to God as Valarivan, means they say pure saint, like omniscient, pure saint, the purest knowledge, the source of purest knowledge. So the embodiment of purest knowledge is God. If you are not able to submit yourself at his feet, what is the use of all this learning? That is his second. Then in the first Adhikaram, he gives 8 attributes to God, which is also applicable for an aspirant, for a spiritual aspirant to become a yogi or a jnani. 8 attributes. One is Adi Bhagavan, primordial overlord. The second thing is Valarivan, the pure saint, purest embodiment of purest knowledge. The third thing, very beautiful, Malar Misai Egina, one who resides in the lotus of your heart. Malar Misai Egina, the soul, that word is in past tense. He is there already. When you look inward, suddenly you feel that he has walked into your heart. Egina, he is already there. In Thiruvachakam, Manikavasakar used to say, Avan Arulale, Avan Tal Vanang. At his feet, by his grace, he would say. Like that, Malar Misai Egina, Manadi, the massive feet, you can say, Manadi, or that which bestows all the best, that is Mandu. Natral, in the first choral he says. Natral means nalla. Tal means, this is also tal. Paper is also tal. Feet is also called tal. For me, it is, for you and me, it is kal. Leg is known as kal. For the Lord, it is called tal. Why he is calling us natral, nalla, good? Because anybody who touches it is blessed by it. Like that. Then the fourth attribute is Vendudal Vendame Ilam. He neither has likes nor any dislikes, no preferences, no aversions. This is how a jnani should be. It is not sufficient for a jnani to have no likes. He should not also have any dislike. For if there is a dislike, it betrays the presence of a liking, a desire somewhere. If there is a dislike, be sure that it betrays the presence of some desire lurking somewhere in him. That is why Vendudal, Vendame, Ilam, both he doesn't have. Irul ser, Iruvinayum sera. There are 2 kinds of impact of karma, they say. One brings in difficulties or pap, the other gives you happiness or punya. Both of them are burdens. They do not touch God, but if you seek him and if you are touched by him, then none of these impacts will touch you. Or Is that clear to you? See, normally we say nalvinai, good deed, or the result of a good action. It is good to do a good deed. But remember that when in the ultimate sense, when a person is walking towards the ultimate liberation, which should be his destination, even the result of a good deed is an obstacle. Like my master used to say, in meditation, even prayer is an aberration, he would say. Like that it is. So you have to solve. Both are burdens only. So nothing touches the Lord. So when you are touched by him, you will not also be touched by either nalvinai or tivinai, either good deed or bad deed, or rather either the result of a good deed or the result of bad deed. So that is another attribute. Number sixth attribute, Porivayil Aindavittan. Pori means your senses, sensory organs. Aindavittan, what are these five? We know no touch, smell, like that. Untouched by good and bad, that is what Irul said. Here, one who extinguished the gates of the five senses. Only when it is touched, there is a reaction. The vasanas propel somebody to touch the outer world. When you get into contact with the outer world, there is a reaction, another action, then reaction. But he has extinguished the gates of the five senses. Tanakku uvamai illada. Uvamai means simile. Tanakku means to himself. Illadan, he doesn't have. Peerless, incomparable one. Tanakku uvamai illadan. Aravali Andanan. Aram means dharma. Ali means ocean. Andanan means one who is kind towards all living beings. Aravali Andana. Incomparable, fearless. The ocean of dharma who is kind. That is Aravali Andana. Then the ninth is very nice. En Gunatta. One who has all the above 8 attributes. It means. En Gunatta. People refer to Ashtama Siddhi and things like that for this En Gunatta. People also say that this is typically a Jain statement. But my Tamil teacher, Sri T. Venugopalan, I still remember him with reverence. And even when I think of him, who is no more, there is a sense of fear, awe before him, because he was such a master. Such a master. People, such great Tamil teachers were there till very recently. Most of them were poor. Most of them were poor. They had only 3 sets of clothes. This you must understand how they gave so much of wealth to us living in abject poverty. They used to have only 3 sets of dresses. Gathering courage, I went and asked one of my teachers, how are you able to manage with 3 sets? He said, why? What is the problem? 1 for wearing, 1 in the wash, 1 in the shelf. Is it not enough? You would say. 1 for wearing, 1 in the wash, and 1 in the shelf. More than enough, they would say. There was no ironing there. So they will, on a table, on a bench, it won't be a table. They will do like this, and then they will keep it under a trunk. That is the ironing. But they were extremely rich in their poverty, by their grit, by their determination, by their conduct, caliber, and character. And once a teacher, you were always a teacher. That's what they were. So, En Gunattam, so both the 8 attributes which I have spoken so far. Then how he concludes is, without holding on to his feet, without holding on to his feet, one cannot cross over the ocean of this samsara. This is the first part of Tirukkural. This 10 couplets itself will be more than sufficient for you to elevate yourself step by step. There is a famous statement in Bhagavad Gita by Krishna. He says, elevate yourself by your own self. Oh, beautiful. Because nowhere he assured Arjuna of victory in the war. He only said, elevate yourself by yourself. Be on the side of Dharma. That is why I am with you. Now, to the serious students like you, I would like to share one more adhikaram from Thirukural, which is Ookkam Udamai. The chaste translation for that would be concentrated energy of the soul. But I would like to put it simply, inspiration. There are two things. One is inspiration. Another thing is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is oscillating, temporary. It rises, it falls. But you should hold on to inspiration. You must stay inspired in such a way that you don't have to do anything special to inspire others. Many people fail when they think that they have to inspire others. No Mahatma ever tried to impress anyone. They were inspired. So naturally, when you come into contact with them, we are inspired. He says, you can call one that he has something, if only he has inspiration. That is how he opens that chapter. If you have inspiration, you have. No, sir, I have a lot of wealth. I have read a lot of scripture. I'm sorry. No, you don't have anything at all. If you have inspiration, you have everything. That is the motivational skill statement from Thiruvalluvar for us. Ullam udamai udamai. What is wealth? He says. Ullam udamai. Ullam means the mind, manas. Ullam here also means inspiration. If there is a mind, it should be synonymous with inspiration. Your mind shall not have anything except inspiration. That will be easy. That will be easier for you to learn anything. That will make it easier for you to take anything in your stride, whether success or failure. We think that it is difficult to handle failure. It is difficult to handle success also. When you become successful, you will know. That is why they say that if your head doesn't become dizzy during success, your legs will not wobble when you meet with failures. So that is the thing. Akkam இழந்தேம் என்று அல்லாவார் ஊக்கம் ஒருவந்தம் கைத்துடையார். That is a person who has wealth, if he also has inspiration, because of destiny, if he loses all this wealth, he won't lament. He won't lament. That he should not lose this inspiration. That is the real wealth, not having money. Vellattanaya malar neetam. What is the height of a flower? Water flower. The level of water decides it. That is how your spirit of your level of inspiration decides your quality, denotes your quality. See, what is the standard he sets? How inspired you are. That's what is necessary. Enthusiasm is entirely different from inspiration. That is why I'm repeating this to you. Ulluvadellam uyar ullal, matrathu tallinum tallamai neerthu, he says. Whatever you ponder, let your aim be lofty still. Whatever be your circumstances, let your aim be lofty. Bharati used to say, peridinum periduke. You see something big, ask for something bigger than that. You should ask not according to your status, but according to the status of the giver. You can't go and ask if God is present here. You shouldn't be asking him for a cup of coffee. Of course, coffee is welcome. That's a different thing. But suddenly when God is present, will you ask for something cheap like that? So that's what he says. Whatever you ponder, let your aim be lofty still. Fate cannot hinder always. Thought you as it will, he says. So this is about inspiration. Then another important chapter for all the students, for every one of us, is Oppuravu. Oppuravu means do any good deed which you do towards the society is called Oppuravu. My teacher used to give a beautiful example for this. He says, a very rich man builds a super specialty hospital and donates it to the society. A poor fellow who is walking on the road, he sees a banana peel in the center of the road. He picks it up and puts it in the dustbin, or he puts it aside. In the eyes of the Lord, both are the same. Because God does not look at the quantum of your action, but he looks only at the content of your intent. May I repeat this? It's very important. God does not look at the quantum of your action, but the content of your intent. So that is why, what should be your content? He asks a question. Kaimaru venda kadapadu mari matti ennatrum kollo ulagu. He teases us, he says, this rain which is falling, if only it expects something in return, what will happen to this world? What can this earth give to the rains? Kanchi Mahaswami used to put it nicely. You have to appease the devas to get rains, but there is no agriculture in heaven. It is only for us. And the rain falls without expecting anything at all in return. Can you be like that? If you are like that, you will get closer to the first chapter on God. Then, Thalatri tanda porulellam takkorku velanmai seidar poruttu, he says. You strive so hard, you work so hard to earn money. For what? For sharing it with the deserving people, he says. Takkorku velanmai seidar poruttu. Velanmai means, on the one side, it means agriculture. On the other side, it means helping others. That day we saw the purpose, very purpose of life is to be of some use to some, at least some. That is what Opuru is all about. Puttel Ulagattum. Puttel Ulagam is heaven. Indum, this world. Peral Aride Opuravin Nalla Pera. There is this idea of helping the society. That is the best thing to obtain, be it in this world or in the heaven. Nothing greater than this Opuravu says. Then there's 3 couplets of this Opuravu Adhikaram. Everyone must keep it before his eyes. One is, Uruni, Uruni, ஊருணி நீர் நிறைந்தற்றே உலகவாம் பேரறிவாளந்திரு. ஊருணி நீர் நிறைந்தற்றே உலகவாம் பேரறிவாளந்திரு. Thiru means wealth. Perarivalan means wise philanthropist. The wealth in the hands of a wise philanthropist is something like the water in pond. Uruni is very specific in Tamil. Uruni means it is only for drinking purpose. They won't wash vessels or buffaloes in that water. Very strict. People, villages used to be very strict. Uruni means it is for Ur, a place to drink water. Un is unavu. Water is also considered as unavu, as food. So, a wise philanthropist, why does he say wise philanthropist? Perarivala means, see, unless the water is used in the Uruni, number one, people are not benefited. If the water is not used at all, it starts stinking. It loses. If you keep using the water, then more water will come and the Uruni will remain pure and clean. This Perarivalan, this wise philanthropist, has understood. That is why he shares his wealth freely, at least a portion of his wealth. He keeps on sharing. He sponsors events. He wants to build a school, he does it. All that he does, the more he gives, the more people take from him, he will get. Because our dictum, our Shastra says, is this the giver is the real receiver. So that is why he calls this philanthropist as wise philanthropist. Next he says, Payanmaram ullur paluttratral Selvam nayanudayan kanpadin. Payanmaram, a good tree, useful tree, in the center of your village. It is full of sweet fruits like mangoes. That is similar to Selvam Nayanudayan Kanpadim. What is this Nayanudayan? The generous. We saw a wise philanthropist. Now he says the generous one. Because the more you give, and the more you give openly without secrecy, the more fruits will come to the tree. And when you eat and throw, the seeds give way to more trees and more fruits. That is why he calls this fellow as Nayan Udayan. In that, there is another meaning. Nayan means nandri, gratitude. I was given, so I must give. This chain should go on. Somebody plants a tree. Today we reap the fruits. Is it not so? It is not always that we plant a seed and the tree comes up and we enjoy the fruits. Somebody has planted the tree earlier. We enjoy the fruits. So that is what he says. And then another punchline he gives. Marundagi tappa maratatral selvam perundagayan kanpadin. We saw Perarivadan, wise philanthropist. We saw Nayanudayan, the generous. Now he says Perundagayan. Who is Perundagayan? The large-hearted. The large-hearted is Perundagayan. How? He says it is a magical tree, which is the panacea for all the ills in society, which provides it. What could be the magical tree? Which tree Valluvar is referring to? Scholars were discussing. And my own teacher beautifully arrived at. He calls the banana tree as the tree which Valluvar is referring here. Why? He explains. There is nothing in the tree, banana tree, which is not useful. Nothing. Take the bark and the strands from the bark. Okay, the stalk inside, the flower, the unripe kai, then the ripened fruit, then why not your leaf? There is nothing which is not useful. So it gives away everything. It gives away everything. And then it also, when it falls, you can see more banana shoots would have come. So unless you give yourself fully, this is again from our Shastra. Dhanam is different from Tyagam. Dhanam is partaking from what you have. What you have, out of it you partake something, you distribute something. Tyagam is giving everything away. That is why when we say Marundagi Tappa Maram, it refers to banyan tree. So very serious, Thirukural. It's not so. It talks about Aram, which is Dharma. Then Porul, material life. Then Inbam, the bliss arising out of love. Then it is not in a sequence. It is not first Dharma, then material life, then Inbam. No. It is material life through Dharma. It is Inbam or bliss through Dharma. That is how it is. And he has spoken, he has given clear ethics to everyone, to the householder, to the student. You can give a long lecture about the management techniques from out of Thirukural. Motivation, communication, all this you can get, time management, all the topics which are recently given in what we say, Payilarangam, workshops, there are plenty available in Tirukkural. But for a change, I will take you to the last section, which is Inbattuppal, where he describes the various moods of love and the bliss. How do you describe a beautiful woman in 7 words? In 7 words, he does Muri Meni. Her body is like lotus. Muttam Muruvan. When she smiles, it is a ray of pearls well arranged. Muri Meni. Muttam Muruvan. Very natram. There is a fragrance of lotus flower around her. Very natram. Veil unkan. Eyes like spears. Vei told. Vei means bamboo. Told means shoulder. Just imagine how beautifully he has put. Bamboo, how smooth it will be. There will be a texture, there will be a specific and unspecific color mix. In 7 words, he describes like that. Here, one adhikaram I will take and explain to you. Very, very beautiful, because these emotions of woman are in vogue, are in existence even today. That is feigned anger towards her lover. Feigned anger. There is no quarrel, but she will be angry with him. And no God can question how. Because she doesn't herself know why she is angry with him, but she has to be angry with him. Right? For the sake of being angry. And this poor fellow, there is something called ingidam or prudence. There is a great distance between prudence and a man. they are not very compatible. Men are not very prudent when it comes to handling the anger, feigned anger of his love. He says, first two couplets are sung by her. She tells her friend, she tells him straight, every woman in the town is lusting after you. You think I will touch your so-called broad chest anymore? And he uses the word paratta. Paratta means, how do I describe it? The male version of bitch. She says so. Have you ever come across in literature his own lover calling him, I don't know the male version of bitch? Then she tells her Tori, see, when we were separate, then he sneezed. Those days it was a sampradaya. Even today it is there. When you sneeze, they will say Dirgayush. If you go to other countries, our own people, they have changed it. When you sneeze, God bless, they will say. Even the Shastris who are there, they will also say, God bless, something like that. So this fellow sneezed, thinking that I will be nice to him and say a good word. Will I? I won't. Okay. Then our fellow laments to his friend, Kotuppu chudinum kai. I plucked the freshest flowers and put it on her head. And she says, you have someone else in mind. Only to show her you are using these flowers and keeping them on my head. What this poor fellow would do? Says, I love you more than anyone, he says. More than whom? More than whom? Tell me, she says. How will he manage her? More than whom? More than whom? It's not like that, ma'am. Immai pirappil piriyalam. I will not leave you in this birth. Please understand. Oh, you have plans to leave me in the next birth, is it? This is how she tortures him. What are you thinking? He asks. She's asking him. "Oh, I was thinking of you only." "Oh, you forget me and then you think of me, is it?" What will that poor fellow do? Huh? Then this time, that sneeze comes to him again. Some allergy, poor fellow. He sneezes, then she gives a good wish. Then she starts weeping. She starts weeping because it is normally, so when you have a hiccup, people say that someone thinks of you, that is why you are having a hiccup. The same was applied to sneezing those days, it seems. So whom are you thinking, or who is thinking of you so that you are sneezing now? And then the third time also, our poor fellow, another sneezing comes. The sneeze has been a big nuisance. It creates a lot of rift between us. So let us somehow control it. Bolke, he did not sneeze. She looked at her. Oh, someone is thinking of you. You know who that girl is. To shield it from me, to escape from me, you are controlling your sneeze. What will you do? Tannai unarthinum kaayum pirarkum neer innira ragudir endru. He pleads with her so much and tries to pacify her by being pally. No, I know you are doing the same thing with other women also. Ninaitirundu nokkinum kaayum. Why are you looking at me constantly? She is asking. Because I thought of you only and I'm looking at you. No. Tell me, whom are you thinking about and looking at me? However much he shows his love, she always says, "No, you're thinking of some other woman." Very difficult. So this was the plight of the lover when the girl gets into the mood of feigned anger. There are several such small couplets are there. Beautiful. Now, again, how do you achieve something? Sutra he gives. This is from Arathupal. What you seek, you will attain, provided your thought is very intense about it. Weak desires, strong prayers. Strong prayers, weak desires should not be there. Higher desires, I mean. You must have strong desires to achieve the goal and strong prayers. Like that, he says, you must be intense about what you want. Then that is how you reach the goal. And then there is a beautiful statement. Don't try to act what you are not. Nice statement. Don't try to act what you are not. One fellow says suddenly, "No, I'm going to do tapas," because maybe he was hard pressed for some money, or he was not able to manage his family. Don't do that. Tavamudayar kevam. Tapas can be done only by those who have tapas inside them already. A wood catches fire because the element of fire is already there in the wood. Otherwise, it won't catch fire. So unless you have that tapasic tendency, we call it tapana. Tapana me tapasu in Telugu, they say. So if you attempt it, opposite of tavam is avam, apamanam, disgrace. That's what he says. And for the householders, he says, what height a householder can reach. Vaiyattul வாழ்வாங்கு வாழ்பவன் வானுரையும் தெய்வத்துள் வைக்கப்படும். If you live a wholesome life in this birth, then after you pass away, you will be placed among gods and people will remember you like that. So 1330, how can I bring it in 15 minutes or 20 minutes? I really don't know. One of my favorite kurals I will leave with you. How to overcome, how to transcend dukkam, misery, unhappiness. Yadanin ningiyan nodal adanin ilan. From whom or what this misery comes to me, watch out. And then create a distance between the person or thing or circumstances. Yadanin Ningiya takes a step back. Then know it will not be the cause of misery after that. Adanin Ilan. It won't be the cause of misery after that. So let's say, Vanakkam to Thiruvalluvar, and take a very quick look at Silappadigaram. The greatness of Silappadigaram is, it was the first kavyam, you can say, in Tamil, epic poem. And in that, all details are there. If you want to know Natya Shastra, Sangeeta Shastra, temple architecture, science of music, number of musical instruments, the swaras, how they are played, what are the ragas, and then everything is there. And I don't want to go into the story for want of time. It is based on three principles: Arasiyal, Pidaittorku, Aram, Kuttu Avam. That is, if there is corruption, particularly in governance, dharma will become yama for that person. Arasiyal, Pidaittorku, Aram, Kuttu Avam. This is first principle. Second thing is Uraisal Pattinikku Uyandor Yetal. A chaste woman will be worshipped by noble people. Pattini, what is here? Pattini Vratam. What is the difference between Kannagi and others? Kannagi is the heroine of this story. She could burn down Madurai with her yogic power because her husband was killed unjustly. When the king came to know his mistake, that it was his mistake, the king dies. The king dies immediately, followed by the queen. Arasiyal Pidaittorku, Aram Kutravu. If you waver from dharma, dharma becomes yama. Uraisal Pattinikku Uyandor Yettalum. What is Pativrata? What is Pattini? Here he mentions Pativrata actually. So though the word is Pattini. A wife is Patni. There is nothing different between a Patni and a Pativrata except in one hand. A Pativrata does not worship anyone except the husband. It is a vratam she takes, like our people going to Sabarimala, those 48 days, they're very nice, they're well behaved. After they return, everything returns. That's a different thing for most of the people. So, but she has taken a vow to worship only her husband and nobody else. It is very clearly stated in Silappadigaram. Ulvinai uruttu vandu uttu. The destiny follows you somehow. You can never hide from the results of destiny. It will catch you. So this is a brief about Silappadigaram. We'll take another 10 minutes for Kamban. Kamban is called Kavi Chakravarti. I don't have to explain Kavi Chakravarti. When I mentioned the word Kamban, my everything, my heart, my soul, everything enlarges. He was a poet who came in the 12th century from Tamil Nadu. He has rendered entire Valmiki Ramayana in Tamil. Why did he attempt it first? It was not Kamban alone who wrote Ramayana in Tamil. There were others also, but they are not available anymore. He simply came like a colossus, as a big shining light he came. So all the other versions of Ramayana disappeared. If you want to say, to name one Tamil poet who will be a match or who will surpass any other poet internationally, it is Kamban. How much you praise Kalidasa, Kamban will be there. How much you praise Keats, Shakespeare, Kamban will be there. Because his characterization, some small nuances of changes he has made from Valmiki. He did not differ from Valmiki, but Tamil has its own ethos, its own ethical values. One small thing I'll give you. Ravana, according to Valmiki Ramayana, he came and put Sita on his shoulders and flew. Kamban could not do that. It is, how can he touch Sita? That sentiment overtook him. So in Kamba Ramayana, the entire Parnasala, the kutir where she was living, Ravana lives. So a few changes like that would be there. A few sequences will be there. I will quote his first point. Kamba Ramayana begins, "We surrender only unto him." Who is that unto him? He alone is our Talaivar. Today also, that Talaivar word is spoken of, but in a much diluted form. Kamban Talaivan was God himself. No other hero. Ulagam Yavayum Tam Ulavakam. There was a sampradaya in those days. When you begin a big, long poem, they start with Ulagam. The first word will be Ulagam. In Periya Puranam, the first word is Ulagam. In Thiruvalluvar of Nakira, the first word is Ulagam. Like that, he starts Ulagam Yavayum, all the worlds. It is not referring to the earth alone. Tam Ulavakkalu, that they exist and that they are sustained. It is because of him, Nilai Peruttalum, that they sustain and that they keep moving. You say Jagat, that which is in motion is called Jagat, always in motion. That is why Ulagam Yavayum Tam Ulavakkalum. God created the creation and entered it, permeated it. Tam Ulavakkalum. Two meanings we get there. Nikalu, one day involution happens. The whole thing disappears. Ningala alagila vilayatudaya. Whatever happens or does not happen, he is there in it. Alagila vilayatudaya. Now, countless are his leelas. Our Talaivar. He alone is Talaivar. He alone is the Lord. We salute only to him. This is how Kamba Ramayana begins. Is there God or not? In Yuddha Gandam, he says, beautiful. Ondre ennin ondreya. If you say it is only one God, yes, there is only one God. Pala endru ureikkin palaveya. If you say there are many gods, yes, there are many gods. Andre ennin andreya. No, it is not like that. If you say so, yes, it is not like that. Ame ennin ameyam. No, it is like that only.
आप जिम्नेजियम आओगे ना, अभी आएंगे ना जिम्नेजियम उसी.
What is that? Indre ennin indreyam. Nothing of that sort. Whatever you have said, nothing of that sort. Okay. Nothing of that sort. I agree. Uladu endru uraikkin ulade. No, it is there. The Lord is very much there. If you say so, yes, he is there. Andre nambi kodi vaalkai. What kind of life is this? Namaking yenno pizhaipamma. How are you going to arrive at a conclusion here? Like that. What a happy poem. The only thing is, you must add one more word to this. If there is only one, yes, there is only one for you. You should add. No, there are many gods. Yes, for you. When you say so, it applies only to you. In Kenopanishad, the neti, not this. By rejection, you arrive at God. I asked my master, how is it possible? How many things I can keep on saying, not this. Then he said, add one more word and it will enlighten you. What is that? Alone, not this alone. Not this alone. Is this God? Not this alone. You don't say this is not God. You are sitting before me. Are you God? Not this alone. Not you alone. Like that. One day, if you call it one, yes, it is so for you. If it is not there, yes, he is not there for you, like that. So God is a purely intimate and personal experience. No one can speak on behalf of others. This is another explanation in Yuddha Ganda he gives, beginning of things. Then Raman's characterization, super. He says, somebody asks him, Kamban himself comes and says, how can, is it easy for me to even recall and say, when Sepparum Gunattu Raman Tirumuga Chevvi Nokin Kaigai says, in the evening, he was promised a Rajyam. In the morning, he was asked to go to the forest. Kamban says, Rama's face was the same before and after. When he was asked to go, when he was asked to take up ruling this kingdom, when he was asked to go to the forest, the face was the same, as if just blossomed lotus. It was like just blossomed lotus. This, remains one of John Keats. He speaks of the ode to a Grecian urn. There's a beautiful poem, ode to a Grecian urn, urn. There he sees a picture of a man and a woman in embrace, about to kiss. It is a painting on the jar. He says, will they ever kiss? Not possible. Will they ever depart? Will they ever deviate from one another? Not possible. When a scholar writes about Kamba Ramayana, he remembers Keats and writes, bold lover, never, never canst thou kiss, though winning near the goal, yet do not grieve. She cannot fade, though thou hast not thy bliss. Forever will thou love, and she be fair. She will always be fair, and you will always love her. Like that, Rama's face was there, up just blossomed lotus. Kamban was not satisfied. When Sita was in Lanka, when she was recalling Rama, he says the same thing. Oh, take up this big responsibility of king. Dasaratha says. Next day, Kaigeyi says, leave all this wealth and go. And there also Kamban says, his face was like the lotus, but this time he adds one more. Chittirathil alarda sendamara. In the previous thing, the just born lotus, just blossomed the lotus. Here it's a lotus as a painting. So it will never change. Rama's character will never change. You will always see Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. This is Valmiki's statement. That's what through Viradan he establishes Dharmatin Tanimurti, embodiment of Dharma. Kamban also says the same thing. And then Sita's character, he says, beautiful. Allal Mak as Sita, Hanuman offers her, you come with me. I don't want to see you suffering like that. Oh no, he says, with one word, not only this Lanka, I can burn down the entire world. But that is showing disrespect to the Kodandam of Rama. I won't do it. It is his business to come and take me back. I should not go on my own. With one word, I can burn down not only Lanka, but the entire world. I will not. That will be a blemish on the bow that Rama carries. And then Sita, while sending Hanuman back, typical woman sentiment, you remind him the promise which he gave him. For this birth, I will not think of yet another woman. You remind him. Typical woman sentiment. She knows Rama thoroughly. Even then, she feels somebody else should not occupy his heart touch his heart either. But Hanuman gives the punch. Hanuman is the best communicator. If you want to read, learn communication skills, read Hanuman's words and the way he behaves. He gives a counter to Sita in a very respectful manner. You know, Amma, you know how he is, your Rama is. Like churning the curd, his very life, his prana comes out, goes in, comes out, goes in. Like that, he has been suffering there. So, and he is looking like a mad fellow. How can I weigh the misery that he is going through because of your separation? This is the counter to Sita. Remind him of the promise that he gave me, he says. But very respectfully, Hanuman says that he is always thinking of you in such a way that his life comes in, goes out, like churning of the curd. So that is what he says. And we can take one little song. When Ravana faces Rama, he loses the war on the first day. Then Rama addresses him and says, your entire army came with you, but you stand here lost. It's okay. You go back today and come back tomorrow. Can there be a worse insult? We may feel that Rama is showing compassion. That is one view. But the worst insult to a valorous man like Ravana is, take rest today, come back to the battle tomorrow. So Rama, when we speak about the dharma of Rama, we should also look into this Veera aspect. This is a valorous aspect of Rama. Then Kumbhakarna, when he was dying, he pleads with Rama to take care of Vibhishana, because he does not, he knows only the needy justice part of it. The practicality he does not know. It is up to you to groom him, take care of him, he says. So every character, if you take, it is perfectly chiseled by Kamban. Taking it from Valmiki, he says, Angavan, Puhanda Nattai, Anbu Yanum Naravam Mandi, Bungayan Pesalutran, Yananan Munayalutrin. Whatever Valmiki said, that honey, a little of that honey I took inside, and like a dumb fellow speaking, I'm saying a few words. Please forgive me for this. That's what Kamban says. So we can go on and on and on. There are some good translations about of Kamba Ramayana. I'll be happy if you can look at the characterization sequence in a drama. If you, it'll give you, it'll open up your vistas. You will be able to touch what is called the horizon through the poetry of Kamban. Can you ever touch a horizon? You can, through the Kavita Shakti of Kamban. So this is where we would conclude today. Very, very, very brief account of Thiruvalluvar, Silapadigaram, Valluvar's Tirukkural, Silapadigaram, and Kamba Ramayana. Because like Garuda says, Un adireka mayai yar ariva. Who will know? Who can fathom your Maya and know you? You are hiding yourself like an evil, he says. You are not opening up. You are hiding yourself. Tiyarin olithiyar. Olidhukolvadu. Like that you are. Yar un adireka mayai ariva. So, my sincere thanks to you again for giving me the second opportunity to address you on another aspect from Tamil literature. Honestly, I confess that there is no way I can do justice, because if you take one poem of Kamban, you lose your senses for a few days together. And I wanted to avoid Bhakti literature from Tamil, but anyway, I have written it, because if you read one poem of Tiruvachakam, you cannot do anything else in life. It will render you in tears of devotion. Anyway, this variety is the spice of life. Many poets give their own versions of what they, who their muses were. No one can say. We cannot pinpoint. Muse always remains a secret with them. My namaskar, my vanakkam to all those who are viewing.